Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening. Tonight's agenda, we have USA Properties at 6 o'clock, John Brock at 6:30, and a non-public session, and probably spattered in between there, we might get some other items done. So, good evening.
It's good to be back. Well, we just really wanted to open up the conversation with you about when we got the approval from the ZBA. It was acknowledged by other parties that we would be contributing to upgrades on Stowe Road. And I didn't really know which board we wanted to discuss it with first, but I thought we'd come here first and see how you want to handle this and what, how we should move forward on it, I guess.
Well, I guess it's a town road, class 5, minimally used. And you're going to want to do what? So that everybody's on the same page?
Well, from statements in the past, I mean, it's the selectmen have kind of said, well, we have jurisdiction over the roads in town, and so under that theory, I guess you would have say over the planning board as to what upgrades were going to be necessary on the road.
And what do you and your engineer feel is going to be necessary?
Well, when we worked on Jim Craven's property, we had Steve Pernoff do a study of the road. And his biggest concern was roadside obstructions, trees and things that were close to the road. And I think he felt that something needed to be done to the surface or to the drainage because either making ditches or something because it just gets pretty muddy there. He wasn't inclined to think that it needed to get paved. I remember that distinctly.
Which road are you referring to?
Stoll Road.
If I can refresh your memory,
Yeah.
Mr. Craven was responsible to pave Stoll Road up to Green Farm.
Yeah, he did, yeah. No, I'm just telling you.
You call that thin layer of bituminous paving the road? I
Right.
hope you guys are going to recommend something better than that.
Yeah. I was just telling you what Steve Pernoff's study said. That he was, and the reason that they had him do that was because at, I believe at planning board meetings, people were talking about how it wasn't safe to drive on the road. And Steve didn't think it was unsafe to drive on the road. It just needed ditch work done on the side and it needed some trees removed so that you didn't drive into it. So,
How many additional residences are you putting at the end of Stoll Road?
We had 48 townhouse units, which are a little different than 48. You think it's 40?
Why am I thinking it's 40?
It might be 40.
Yeah,
Sorry.
40.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Townhouse units, which have a lower traffic generator than a single family house because you don't have kids. And these are intended to be 55 and older, so you have certainly people at 55 go to work, but older after a while don't go to work so much.
I did bring some engineering reports that Holden did, I've got a copy for you all, that we gave to the planning board for the proposed 47 lot subdivision. part of what it says is basically if you're gonna pave the road, you probably have to redesign it to some extent because these traffic speed's gonna be a lot higher than on a gravel road, and, you know,
I live on a gravel road, so trust me, paved to gravel means absolutely nothing. Just
some people, I drive slower on a gravel road.
Since you just handed this out, and it's 4 pages, I'm assuming you wrote it?
I didn't, Bill Rosenthal did.
You know about it?
I knew about it when we wrote it. I don't remember much about it today.
2010.
8 years ago it was written.
So it's already out of.
Say again? So what we did is we had looked at the trip generation for single-family houses and looked at accident history, and there were some accidents. And then I think the last page, last section talks about gravel versus paved.
Are you coming forth with something of what you're suggesting that you're willing to do? Are you looking for the town to hire an engineer at your cost to come up with that solution?
Well, I just really wanted to open the conversation. If you think that's the way to go, we can put something together and come in and present it to you.
That's what I thought you guys were gonna be doing this evening. When I saw it on the agenda, I said, oh, they're gonna come in and give
Yeah,
us
I
what
already
they're
know if we
proposing.
come in here and you just might say, you know, we don't want you to do that, you know, we'll.
Go to see the planning board or something, you know. so-
No,
yeah.
no. Stoll Road,
Yeah.
Town Road, we would have to.
So, off the top of your head, what do you think we should do? I mean, let's,
We know there's the problem area, what I always refer to of where the house is. That one house where it squeezes down to maybe 12 feet wide. I could be exaggerating, but I don't think you could get 2 cars to pass. You know where I'm talking about, right?
Where the old small cape is on.
Yes,
right?
yeah, it's right in front of you as the road starts to do this to, and that would have to get redesigned, widened. It's gonna need drainage and paving. I don't think it's a turnpike road. I don't, you know, from the board's, I'm just talking individually, we have our town standards that class 5 roads are 24 feet wide, et cetera. You know, I don't think on some of these back rural roads that that's maybe what we're looking for, maybe we aren't, but if somebody could give us some engineering data to quantify that.
yeah, like I said, my worry is, like I said, I live on a dirt road that is actually a feeder road out of Ringe, and even what's that?
Well, by Vinny Hill.
No, Hubbard Pond off at Timber Top. So Timber Top, and it splits, and if you go one way off to Timber Top, you end up on one side of Ringe. If you go up Hubbard Pond and go out Pine Road, and you end up on the other side of Ringe. And you know, even with the amount of traffic we get through there during certain seasons, that road takes a beating. My fear is, one, just in construction time, the amount of wear and tear that road's going to take that it has never taken before, and then just adding, 40 more homes in that area.
Well, there'd be 40 units, county units, so there'd actually be 8. 40 plus.
5 8-unit buildings.
But it's still 40 new residences.
Yeah,
So
it's part
you
of
have-
dwelling unit.
Yeah, so you're talking I understand it's 55 plus, so but you're still talking at 55 plus in this area, based on the fact that we have no public transportation or anything else. You're talking a minimum of 40 to 80 more cars up and down that road, daily. That's minimum, So having driven that road in mud season, everything else, because we get the phone calls, and I'm good about it. If someone calls and complains, I get in my car and I drive the road. That way, when they talk to us or we come to the board here, this year, Stoll Road took a beating more than once throughout mud season. It was an odd season with the way things went, but that is not uncommon for Stoll to take quite a beating because of just the way that road runs, and to add additional traffic, once it's widened, everything else, there's going to have to be substantial upgrade on that road to make it a travelable road past, like you said, past that cape, and to make it something that can withstand that extensive amount of traffic.
To the best of my knowledge, there's no application for your site plan approval in front of the planning board yet?
No.
You have not applied yet?
Well, that would come here first.
Okay. I'm just wondering if this discussion is premature because we do not have an application.
No, it's not premature. We told them on the ZBA that they're gonna need to discuss it with the Board of Selectmen.
All right. Also, I've read the Pernar report way back when, and it was a little more extensive on the upgrades that were required. Again, the width, drainage, and so forth is all going to need some substantial upgrade, as well as the surface of the road. The other part is I've also walked the road with Peter Goey and with Kent Brown. They both agree that substantial upgrades will be needed on that road. However, there are other residents on the road, and some discussion about the proportionment of the upgrades might be required at some date in the future. The applicant, if the application does come through, should not bear the entire cost for upgrading that road.
That's your opinion, right?
That's my opinion.
Yeah.
Can we vote on that?
Yeah, you wanna do it now? Bert, you alluded to having read the Pernar report and that it indicated greater upgrading than what's been discussed. Are you referring to the report from Green Farm,
Yeah, from Green Farm.
which only addressed the Stoll Road from Green Farm Road down to Temple?
Correct.
Okay. You don't have any documentation from an engineering company other than yourself for upgrading of the balance of the road, do you?
No.
Okay.
As one of the, when we were in the process of actively pursuing the subdivision that you alluded to, we had hired Kent Brown to take a look at it, and he had started to develop some preliminary commentary on that. But because you postponed the application, he stopped work on that. So he has never put anything actually in writing on that. But I'm very much aware that substantial improvements will be required on that road.
I think they've been needed for a while. I know right down there, mud in the spring, washboard in the summer. It's needed work for a while.
So, I remember coming to planning board meetings with Bill Barnsley. And people on the road talked about how they got stuck the whole time, if these guys fix the road, like Bert said, they probably shouldn't be doing all of it, but how would the town do that? I mean, you guys don't have a checkbook, you can just go out and start fixing roads, but.
No, we don't have such a checkbook.
Yeah, neither does anybody else that I work for, so. And I always kind of wondered, I mean, it's been, I don't know, 30 years that I've been talking about this road, and the town never did anything, and I didn't know if you guys were thinking about doing something, and they do part of it, you do part of it, you know. We had, I remember we had an agreement at one time with at least with a road agent, we were gonna give him a certain amount of money, and he was gonna fix it, cause he thought he could fix it a whole lot cheaper than.
Yeah, but you're going back 30-plus years? Yeah, let's stay current. Things have changed in 30 years.
Well, the road hasn't changed.
It sure has.
Yeah, no, anyways.
Well, when we got subdivision approvals for 8 lots on Cedar Ridge, we gave the town $4,000 for each lot towards upgrades of the road.
And the road got paved, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure if I have to go back and look at the record or whether.
It came out of that
Cedar
money.
Ridge or whether it was Stowe.
No, Cedar Ridge got paved.
Yeah, Cedar Ridge,
Yeah.
Out of the $4,000 one.
Along with other contributions.
Oh, from other landowners.
I think why am I thinking Salo may have had money?
Dave Salo and us shared the paving of the lower part. We covered that because it was, at that point, it was.
You
private.
developed it, right?
It was private, yeah.
Well, that's the way it should be. Along with some off-site
Well,
improvements like all the other cities and towns do. But we haven't gotten that far yet.
Well, no one else was out there except us. I mean, it was only our lots.
But you didn't do anything to Stowe Road.
Well, Stowe Road, there's plenty of other houses on it, that's it. It is,
Correct me if I'm wrong, are there not about 20 or 25 houses on all of Stowe Road, which is just under a mile long?
I think last time I counted, there was, back when we were talking about 47 lots, I think it was around 47 lots, including ones on Cedar Ridge Drive, which is served by Stowe Road. So it was.
Okay, I'm not counting the ones on Cedar Ridge or Hollyview, just on Stowe Road.
Just on, yeah, I'd have to go back and look
Yeah.
at the tax map again.
For some reason, that was the approximate number we had out there. And you think for a road that long, for 25 houses, I know a lot of times when we're talking about rebuilding roads and whatnot, our focus has always been on the collector roads. Some of the others we look at now and we say, well, there's really not enough houses on that road to warrant to do that over a different road.
Okay, so I guess we'll put together a proposal and come back. I guess we'll.
I think the biggest challenge is gonna be that twist in the road. And I think it might involve, for some reason in my mind, I'm thinking that there's some utility poles in the way.
And you can get those moved. The town can,
We can?
yeah. We move a lot of poles. The town calls, the utility company moves them.
For no cost?
Yeah, no cost, because they're there.
Perfect.
They're there by suffrage, so we make them suffer.
All right,
Great.
how long,
Alright.
wait, before you run off. How long is this gonna take?
Well, I'm gonna take you.
Huh? I don't know. Gotta think about what we.
Give me a ballpark.
Let's see, today's first of July, it'd be first September. July, August, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Great. Thank you,
Good.
gentlemen.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Okay.
Enjoy the weekend.
You do.
Mr. Brock?
Yes, sir.
Hi, how are you?
Good, good. Just sit up here. So how you doing? John from Rock.
John Vieser.
John Beaver.
Nice to meet you.
Dave Lynch.
Dave Lynn. How'd you enjoy?
Well, I'm sure you probably heard I purchased Mike Mackey's property up off of Old Peterborough Road. I had a meeting with the Wildcat organization back there, and they allow me to use their private road as long as I agree to help maintain it and plow it, and if there's anything that ever goes, wrong, potholes or whatever, assist with that. Wapak Trail is which was Old Peterborough Road, which is a discontinued town road. That's what it says in all the paperwork and everything else. To get to my property, it's about 1,500 feet of that Wapak Trail. It's about 8 feet wide right now. What I was looking to do was just to improve from Chapman Road up to my property, so I can get into my property, so vehicles can get in there. Cement trucks. I designed a log cabin, Coventry Log Homes, building it to 24 by 34 log cabin. It's going to be my residence up there, my future, permanent residence. I sold my house down in Lunenburg. I'm a police officer in Lunenburg. She's a police officer here in Bedford, New Hampshire. So we're going to become New Hampshire residents, New Switch residents and stuff. So that's my intent, to make it just accessible. Once everything is built and done, if I need to do more, that's like here the mud season. I was up here looking at properties in the mud season, so I discovered that and got a couple other different roads, searching the area. I'll do that. As of now, I've had 2 different companies, excavating companies, come up just to walk the property. One was Powell, Stone and Gravel down in they're friends of mine, so they just came up to look at it. And then the other one, I always say the name wrong, Steve Bochard from it's Aggregate Excavating, I think's the name of it. And they both, said that it wouldn't take much, I have to cut down a few trees to widen it up. Like I said, it's about 8 feet now. So I just.
Can I interrupt you a second?
Yes, sir.
I was reviewing your driveway permit application, and part of this application is supposed to have attached to it the plan of what you're going to do, and there was nothing other than a typical driveway section.
Correct, because that's why I'm here. They told me to come here first. The building inspector stated that you all had to approve or disapprove for Old Peterborough Road. And so that's what I'm here, is to just give the intent and tell you what my plan is to do. Then Steve is the one that's probably going to end up doing it. He would do a plan, and then I would give that to you. Like I said, I just want to make it wide enough. He says he just wants to make it wide enough just to get, a vehicle could drive up it now, like my pickup truck, but it's not a cement truck. It's not a flatbed to bring any of the material stuff I need up there. That's all I'm looking to do.
But you said earlier that, and I'm going to have to pull the records, that Old Peterborough Road was discontinued.
It's been discontinued for many years.
For some reason, I'm thinking it's not.
That's what it says in all the logs that we looked through. Even the secretary and the lady that sits over here, we both.
Wasn't that court case with Cowett to make that a Class 6 road, because they sued the town? This goes back probably 50 years ago, but there was a court case, and it's a basis one. That's.
Because I know Old Peterborough Road where this is. It's not a Class 6 road. It's not even equivalent to the.
Wait a minute, though. It can be a Class 6 road, and I want you to. Do you know the difference?
Well, Class 6, it's this so wide. The town maintains it. And stuff. No. Okay.
No. A Class 6 road is non-town maintained.
Correct. I understood that.
And if anybody wants to do work on it, they do come to this board.
Okay.
But if it's discontinued, then it reverts back to the owners of the adjacent properties.
And that's what I was under the impression that
And
it was.
I don't believe it is. I believe.
Can we find out somehow? Because like I said, we went through all the paperwork. I spent a couple hours over here with the 2 ladies in the corner, and they found some. I wish I had it, but where it stated that it's a discontinued road.
Yeah, we would have to look through town warrants to find, because in order to have it discontinued, the town has to vote it. So,
Either way, that's what just to get to my property, it's still gonna be, as in current use, it's still gonna be a hiking trail. I mean, I own many, many acres way
Yeah,
up north, and
yeah.
I have snowmobile trails, quad trails, hiking trails that go right down my driveway and through my stuff, so I'm not allowing them, I'm not disallowing people from using it. That's still gonna be a continuously used trail, and I'm keeping the entire property as it is in current use. I have no intention to take it out whatsoever. And
Other than where you put the
the
house.
minimum, what I think it's 2 acres,
Yeah.
or whatever the minimum that I have to pay a penalty for the house, yes,
Yeah.
that's it.
And that, the only reason why I'm being inquisitive is if in fact Old Peterborough Road were discontinued,
Mhm.
this board would not have jurisdiction over that road, okay? So at that point, I would say you just, as a neighborly thing, approve it with because Chapman's a private road,
Yes.
with them, and then you're on your own. But
Okay.
I believe Old Peterborough.
That's why I'm here, because I was told
I
that.
think it is because that,
Well, I was told that it was discontinued, and it was the abutters. When I talked with the Wildcat, that organization in the meeting, they were on 50-50, pretty much, oh yeah, that's pretty, and then someone like, no, it's not, it's still Old Peterborough Road,
Yeah.
a Class 6 road, and so I was like, well, when I went up and spent all that time up here in the town, they were going through all the records when I initially, before I even bought the property, because I didn't want to buy the property if I didn't have access to it.
right,
So I wanted to make sure, and when they said, hey, that's a discontinued road, and I said, okay, and that's when I set up the meeting with them, and I was trying to get a hold, and no one's been able to even call Windblown, the people that own the lot on the right side at the bottom part, Grace Morin, and someone believes that she might have passed, and her nephew has control of the property now, which they haven't done anything with and don't plan on anything, but no one's been able to get in touch with any of those.
and I gotta believe Old Peterborough Road was not discontinued because they could not have received building permits if it were discontinued, and within the last 10 years.
I don't think there's been a house built on that section.
What's the one that goes Crook? Andy?
Old Ridge?
Maybe I'm thinking
Old Range's house
Okay,
is and
yeah.
stuff, that's what, and I did try to access, well, you can get to Old Peterborough that way, but there's a gate on the top, and that is
Wetlands.
all wetlands, that would, I mean, I know the environmental and, you know, the conservation would be like, nah, you ain't touching that road, because on the top side it is. And everybody, I talked to the people at the very top of Old Range Road, they said the same thing, and I talked to the gentleman that has that summer home, that's down there as well.
I'm just gonna see if I can
Yeah.
pull the road file.
I even looked into going right up through the power lines and called the power company, it's a liability, you can't use it as a private road. I was like, oh, that stinks, cause that road's perfect, it's right there,
Yeah,
it's
it's nice.
literally
Road is
right
so
into
easy.
the property, it would've been absolutely easier.
Oh, nice.
But they said, they were like, you're liable, which I understand, even
Yeah.
though I own the 7 acres under the power lines, it's more or less their power lines, they have all that, and I can understand that.
Yeah.
God forbid something should happen,
Yeah.
and somebody crash into one of the pylon poles and falls, and half of New England is out of
Yeah.
power, so,
Yeah, they just did a bunch of work on those last year, I think it was.
yeah, it's all cleared up.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the problem lies is if it is discontinued, and I assume you're going to try to build a house up there, correct?
Yes, I have all the
Um, You couldn't get a building permit to build on. I think that's what Dave was trying to allude to.
Well, I already got the septic approval, and they said that I can get a building permit, cause I will have access, they said it was actually easy if it was discontinued, because I just got permission from the 2 abutting property, myself and the Wildcat,
They
to get
don't-
access, and on the town map, it has to where it is a buildable lot, it's zoned as a buildable lot,
But you have to have frontage.
and it's on Old Peterborough.
But if Old Peterborough
Yeah.
Road is discontinued, you do not have frontage,
And then
and
when you
therefore
read the,
do not have a buildable lot.
well, then when you read the permit where I got frontage from permission from the abutters, and I'm gonna
The
make
butters
frontage.
do not have permission, like the authority to give you
Okay.
permission to do anything. That's the bottom line.
Well, when I went through everything to purchase the land, I was told it is a buildable lot, 100%.
The world can tell you that.
Yeah.
The only
and
The
town
only
of Ipswich
people-
is gonna have to buy the land back from me because.
Not really, because you were listening to everybody but
No, they had a
us.
lawyer do a background.
Then you
Okay.
sue your lawyer.
Well, it's not mine, it was the real store that's right up the
Right,
street.
the real,
Oh.
The
we don't
realtor
have
lawyer.
control over that.
Who did that.
I-
Anyway,
Yeah.
I felt very comfortable, the lawyers felt very comfortable, talking with the Wildcat Association. Everybody felt comfortable that either a discontinued and or not a discontinued class road, there was still access, it was a buildable lot. Everybody from the town hall to all these people.
That's my concern, is I wanna make sure you can get your house there.
Right.
And if it's discontinued, there may be additional hoops to jump through. That's what I'm
I'll be
concerned
willing to
about.
make those hoops. The money I've spent already.
I just wanna make sure we go
Yeah.
through the right process for you.
And that's why I'm here. That's why I've been very, that's why Mr. Mackey came over. Mr. Mackey was under the impression when he purchased the land, it was a buildable lot. He came over here, he had a meeting with the town, I have the minutes in it that said, yeah, he's good to go. You could purchase, you could build on that lot.
Yeah.
He came to me and he said, here's the letter, I have the minutes in here that states that you all agreed that it was a buildable lot and that I had access to it. So that's when I went to the lawyer, we did a deed check,
Yeah.
we did a lien check, we did everything you had
And
to
that's
do
the kind of
to
thing though too, is like
purchase.
if the board gave him approval, I think that approval goes with the property.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep,
And we're talking Board of Selectmen minutes?
that was you all here, yes,
Yeah.
selectmen
Yeah,
minutes.
trust me, it wouldn't have been us three, but.
Oh, whoever,
Yeah.
it was just April, May?
Yeah.
It was
Oh,
just
well.
May.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't remember we had a Mr. Mackey in here?
Yeah, I do remember, but
I'm just
I
trying to
remember
remember what we said.
Yeah.
What did we say?
yeah.
They said I got it in here someplace, and I know we had,
Yeah.
more or less that, yes, it's a buildable lot, it's approved, and to be good stewardess as get with the Wildcat, so I would,
Make sure you stayed within the right-of-way.
May have been one
it
I
didn't
had
go in
to
that
miss.
detail, he did say that he wanted to have a meeting with me, but it didn't go into all of, like.
Yeah,
So,
no.
I mean, I plan on making it, accessible enough and my goal was, I want it to be a class 6 road. Not a class, I said this wrong when I was talking to the Wildcats. To meet the requirements of a class 6 road, but not designated a class 6 road. So
Right.
I want it to be a accessible road for me. I don't wanna fall
Yeah.
off the side of the mountain.
Oh, no.
I don't wanna get stuck in the
No,
mud.
no, no.
So
Yeah.
that's what, and when I was talking to them, I was like, well, your private road, Chapman Road, it's really not a class 6, and they all got like, well, no, I'm not trying to say, I just wanna
Yeah.
say that I wanna make it within the requirements. The requirements for a class 6 road is this and this.
Yeah.
It's kind of what I wanna do, maybe not as wide, because I don't need it as wide, because I'll be the only one up there, but I wanna have the proper base, I wanna have,
Yeah.
everything else.
Yeah.
Well, our concern is to help you get where you need to be, but we just wanna make sure
It's done.
it's done correctly and that
Yeah.
you're not cutting a
Yeah.
50-foot swath through the,
Yeah, and then I know, and I know with some of the folks on Chapman, there had been discussions with them because, for many years it was lots of people helped maintain it, and then all of a sudden everyone's gone and only one person's helping to maintain it.
Oh,
So,
we heard it.
Yeah, I met with
Oh,
them, and
yeah.
they were happy to hear I do have a tractor and a plow and a dump truck, and I will be
They're
able
like,
to assist. They're
In
like,
that
oh,
case,
really?
use the road.
Yeah,
We don't have a road file on it.
okay,
Our maps by Southwest Regional Planning do show it as a class 6 road.
okay.
I just had a conversation with a former selectman from back in those years, and he said, no, that was never discontinued.
So I'll have to get this, I'm gonna look for it, I have it right
Yeah.
here, and it says it right on it, it even says it, actually, I think it says it on the deed too.
Yeah, but wouldn't it be better if it was not discontinued?
Actually,
yeah,
kinda,
it is, yeah.
Yeah.
And then we found
Just
out,
don't even
I think it was
look
a
for it,
meeting I
state what
wasn't
they
able to go,
say.
but it was Mr. Mackey came and spoke to you because
Yeah.
then he was worried that if it's discontinued, I said, well, if this board said it's a buildable lot, then you're fine anyway, because we would have,
So we don't need the
well,
alert.
because,
I want to see.
Yeah.
Do you have it?
I'm looking right now.
Yeah, take your time.
I know I made copies and gave copies and,
so what we need is kind of a basic layout
Even if we
plan
have
of
it,
what you
we
really
can't
wanna
allow it.
build out there, how wide, the shoulders, the drainage you wanna put in.
But he can petition the
And,
selectmen then
Did they
to
have
give,
a plan?
to provide him with access to his land.
no, the engineer has.
but,
If somebody's landlocked,
Mhm.
that there's no
What is
road to it, and they don't negotiate something with an abutter, then they can come to the board, and the board has to legally lay out.
Yeah, and that's effectively what we're doing, it's doing the layout.
No, no,
Not if it's
that
a
road's
Class
Class
6.
6 road.
Okay, then that's fine.
Yeah.
No, we were just worried, like you had said, if it was a discontinued, then,
Yeah, then
then we'd have to have some sort of
I-
issue, because he has a buildable lot sitting off of a discontinued road.
But I think his lot goes out to Chapman.
Here's the, from the meeting, that actually it says right there, is this one here, it says on the, that it's, what you all wrote, the Class 6 road.
Class 6.
That one says it on there, yes.
Yeah, Class 6 does
Yes.
not mean discontinued.
Yep, I was
Another
absent
piece
from
of
that
paper.
one.
Right.
Oh, don't get off the lot.
Should I just stop right
See,
there?
I can
Stop
sign
right
your name.
I know. Nope, it says right here, absent. It says I was absent.
That was that.
You luck, have all the luck.
I wanted to see what the girls were showing.
Yeah.
The deed says it's discontinued.
Okay,
Old discontinued, old Peterborough Road.
Yeah.
I don't think your deed is correct.
Yeah.
Well, I'm hoping you're right.
There's your minutes back.
Yeah, it says old discontinued Peterborough Road on the warrant. On the warrant of deed. And they bought the land on October, or this deed was signed October 25th, 2011.
2011. I can tell you now, between now and 2011, that road was never discontinued. Now,
I'm
if
gonna
it-
go with you and
if
I'll
it-
put all this
if it
paperwork
was-
away.
If it was something back in,
18 something.
or
when they said-
even if the 1900s, the early
Yeah.
1900s, but,
so,
Well, the Wildcats, they're pretty knowledgeable on the history of that, and they started bringing up
well, even
dates, and I'm like, holy cow.
Jim Coffey, who's an assessor and was the selectman,
Yeah,
even explained that Chapman Road used to be a Class 6 road.
oh, really?
Yeah, and then the organization out there, Wildcat,
Wildcat, yeah.
had, I don't know if they petitioned or how it changed, but to become a private road, and then they would maintain it.
It would be easier if it was not discontinued, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
very much so.
Yes.
Because if it were discontinued,
Then it's more stuff I have to go through.
well, you don't have
That's what you-
access
Yeah.
to your lot off of a Class 6 road.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because Chapman's.
Cause private,
But do you abut Chapman?
no, it doesn't go down that far.
No, isn't it?
No, we bought Grace Moore.
Yeah, Grace Moore's property. Chapman, I abut Chapman on
And
the
then whatever
backside.
that
Well,
dried up
the
lake
the
is.
property off of Chapman, the Wildcat, I abut the backside, yeah.
The like dried up lake, whatever. That's-
yeah, but you definitely need practical access.
Oh, so the backside, he's saying he butts it.
Can I come over?
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see, if this here were if this is discontinued, you have a lot that is landlocked. You have no
And-
access from a public
And
right.
that's what I wanted to find out initially, and Mike Mackey came up, and that's what the letter for the selectmen, and,
Mhm.
but it says Class 6 there.
And that's what we're
So-
saying,
and that's
and we're
what's-
still,
okay.
see this hatch mark?
Yep.
That's on here, when you go to the legend of the map,
It-
that's a Class
Class-
6 road.
correct.
Yeah,
And that's where I saw that too.
yeah.
But what do I need to do now?
I thought you were here to present what you wanted to do for a driveway
Okay.
access. And typically, that's what we're looking for, is a plan to show, here's the plan, I'm going to either cut trees down,
Make
I'm
it
going
this way,
to
okay.
put gravel in, whatever. Explain to
So
us
something
what
around
it-
like, okay, because that's
Yeah.
what the intent is, that's what I
Yeah.
wanted to do. I was under the impression that I just needed to come and let you guys know,
Yeah.
okay, this is my intent, but I can get with Steve and have him
Yeah,
draw up, something, because like I said, it's about 8 feet now, I can get a truck down to it, and I wanna make it wide enough that I could get a bigger vehicle down, so yes, some trees will have to be cut, and, gravel, and like you stepped out of the room, I wanna make it in like the specs of a Class 6 road, but not a full width
There are no
Class
specs
6
on a
road.
Class 6 road, so you're safe there.
Okay,
As
I'm
a,
getting
as a selectman, the
nervous
only
but
thing
bad.
I'm concerned with is, and that's why I probably would suggest we do a site visit, is if that road goes up,
Yep.
and you're widening it up and you put in drain, where is that water gonna go? I don't wanna be getting calls from,
Down a mile down the road.
or even on Chapman Road, well, he did this and now it washed out Chapman Road, whatever.
Yeah, no, I understand.
Just that those are,
Totally, like I said, the two people that have been up there, the drainage is very well. I've been up there when it has been. Chapman's been, I've had to put in 4-wheel drive, and I've had no problem going up what's existing there now. I know when you take trees away, take the erosion, it causes more erosion and stuff like that. But as I said, my intent is to make sure that there is drainage, make sure it does flow, like everything, because it's a little bit of a slope into the Grace Morris property. It doesn't flow into, Chapman Road goes this way, this road goes like this, so this flows down into the wetlands that are down here, that eventually flows over. So could there be a potential of more water down there, and is there enough adequate drainage for them?
just get it down to the wetlands rather than across another road. And
Right, and it doesn't go across any roads, but I do understand the potential if it was done wrong or improper, where a lot of water could get down there and it would just overflow their systems that they have, which I don't want that to happen because I got a good rapport with them.
Good,
So, all right,
that's
so
all we're looking for.
yeah, so I will, I'll get with Steve, we'll get something done up, I'll let him know and then make it happen, you know.
Yeah, think about it in terms of a semi-engineered plan, the width of what you're going to want for your traveled surface, some shoulders, some
Yep.
drainage, what the surface is gonna be made of, and some possible erosion controls, and
Yeah.
think about protecting your neighbors.
Okay, sounds good.
Awesome. Don't forget your other minute to.
All right, thank you very much, I appreciate the education and.
Thanks so much, John.
and-
And welcome to town.
Oh,
We look
thank
forward
you.
to
Yeah,
a successful build for you.
I sure hope so. Slow, it's going better than I thought, to be honest with you, but it's the first house I bought, many houses, it's the first house that I've built with this extensive property and stuff like that. I just wanna be up there now. Quiet and peaceful.
Good.
So,
Beautiful.
Enjoy.
all right,
Thank you.
Thank you.
much.
Very nice meeting you
Bye-bye.
both.
Nice meeting you.
Okay, it's coming back.
We received a letter for, Green Farm Road, for the name Drive. We needed two though, right? There's two.
There's two.
Okay, so there's one other we're waiting for. They asked to name it either Granite Drive or Evergreen Drive.
Both?
I'm good with Granite Drive.
I'm good with Grant as long as there's no repeat somewhere in
It's
town.
good.
Right, there's
Good by me.
nothing that repeats that.
Then I think Granite Drive's very nice.
Did you draft a letter to them?
Nice neutral color.
So this is it.
Yeah, I think the other one, Gary Sommer was helping to get that group on board. Or working with them.
Gary's heading that up?
I think that's what we were told that night, that the other one, I
Yeah.
think that's the group that Gary's,
Would you follow up with a letter to him?
and I think they said that's the one, Gary, that's Gary
Yeah,
Somro, right.
Yeah.
But that's why, he had been talking to his neighbors, that's what we were told
Good.
that evening anyway.
Is that one? Everybody saw that?
Yes.
Good. Is she still interested in the other position we discussed?
I believe she had indicated afterwards that at the next election.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sign. in this letter from Mike O'Donnell from the DOT
Yeah.
regarding that they will restripe the crosswalks, he had mentioned, while we're on the topic of streetlights, they had recommended that town install street lighting to meet federal guidelines at that sidewalk. Since you now received the grant from this, there's an additional piece of information you may not be aware of, which is that additional street lighting is recommended by New Hampshire DOT for the crosswalk near the junior high.
You mean the one that goes from the junior high into the woods?
Yeah, that one there.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the one. So,
It does, it goes into north,
yeah,
nothing.
it does.
It's like,
I'm just thinking for the kid that's walking on the wrong side of the street, it will safely get him over. And I meant to look to see where the closest street light is in that area, but I would have thought that there was one at Tricknet.
I think there is one, actually.
Yeah, and the sidewalk is at, the crosswalk is pretty close to Tricknet.
Yeah, I mean, kids just don't have any choice but to walk in the street.
Well, we do have the sidewalk on
Yeah.
southbound side. I did reach out to Connor Jenkins at Eversource, and I need to forward to him the additions and deletions of street lighting that we spoke about, and then he'll forward it to, I think he said, the Swansea office. What was the other one?
Yeah, and I passed again, the one across from 11 Temple is off.
Yep.
There's a light there, but it does not work. So, which is, we had actually marked that.
But that's on the list, right?
It's on the list to come out,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay. We've got any new business?
None.
I don't
Then
have,
I think the only thing we have then is gonna be
got a couple non-publics.
non-publics, yeah.
Okay.
Motion to go into non-public under 91A3C, out of section 2, matters which if discussed in public would likely affect adversely the reputation of any person.
Second.
All those in favor?